will see in the next couple of minutes how much we overlap. Mark's talk and my talk will show similar graphs, probably similar ideas as well, and probably also similar conclusions. As you know, this IRAD registry is an international consortium of more than 50 hospitals now that collect data and document what they're doing and following patients as much as possible. However, our follow-up rate is only 62%, I think. So it's not perfect, but we have an idea what's happening in those participating centers with or without a particular interest in aortic interventions and aortic surgery. Nowadays, we have collected data from more than 12,000 patients. And as you see, it's a multidisciplinary cooperation between different people engaged in that field. We have seen this before, the so-called IRAD Model 1, which is a preoperative prediction model. And at the time when we started to look at this, I had a debate with Kim Eagle, I remember, and with Eric. And Eric and I, we were on the same, of the same opinion that a risk prediction model can only be abused for denying service to a patient. So why do that? And Kim, who is a very experienced data manager, he said, okay, we're collecting this data anyway. We paid to statistician. Let's go and do it, and we see what comes out of it. You know, of course, something comes out of it, and it needs to be published. Again, we saw this, and what it shows that the observed mortality and the predicted mortality based on those clinical factors on the left-hand side, age, presenting hypertension, migrating pain, quality of pain, pulse deficit, etc., and ECG, evidence of infarction, is quite okay and robust to predict the outcome on the basis of simple to obtain parameters. So that was, at the time, in the early 2000s, quite a telling intervention. And you could show this table to a given patient and say, your risk to get this procedure is so high, and it, as you said, probably lower than if you don't do anything. But it could have been abused. The Model 2 adds some intraoperative information to the mix and comes out with a similar prediction model. It doesn't really help too much, and the preoperative data is actually what you bank your decision on to go into the operation, so this is a bit futile. But we did it anyway and came up with a fairly okay correlation between the predicted mortality and the observed mortality using these intraoperative data as well. IRAD actually, because they had access to so many patients with A and B dissection, looked at the predictive model for type B dissection, and this is a separate publication that came up with a similar predictive mortality based on the parameters that you see there, female age, female sex, age, hypertension, pretty much the same kind of set of data to predict mortality in type B dissection, which is, as expected, much lower in comparison to type A. So we had a separate score for type Bs at the time. Talking about type Bs, I would like the opportunity to use this opportunity to highlight a radiographic score, which I personally like and use in many occasions based on the CT assessment of a patient with any type of type B dissection, be it complicated or not complicated. The radiographic data alone can be used to predict the outcome in a given patient if he or she doesn't undergo an endovascular procedure. It's worthwhile looking at this publication from Stanford in 2017. But back to our prediction model for type A dissection. The Gerada score has been developed by Martin Czerny and his group and the German Society of Cardiothoracic Surgery. It's also using simple to obtain data, preoperative data, putting them into a score and basically validate this in the first publication in 2020 by multiple bootstrap procedures, actually 10,000 iterations of a model patient, and then they come up with a very close correlation between the predicted mortality and the actual mortality. So the area under this curve, and this will come back in various other presentations in the next few minutes, is the amount of accuracy, how to predict the outcome based on preoperative or pre-surgical information. The Gerada can be looked at based on radiological malperfusion criteria or clinical malperfusion criteria. This is just to add a little bit more granularity to the evidence of malperfusion. There's always in clinic a debate, what is radiological malformation, if the patient is asymptomatic and has a kidney that doesn't really opacify as the other side. So that's radiological malperfusion and should be also considered as evidence of malperfusion without going into much more detail here. Malperfusion is a bad actor and basically should be considered. Here's an independent validation study of the Gerada score, a study published from Italy that shows, in comparison to the Euroscore 2, that both scores actually perform in terms of prediction of mortality pretty much the same way, at least in the early phase, up to 30 days. And the conclusion from this comparison was that Gerada is a specific, simple, and reliable risk scoring system for patients with proximal aortic dissection, and the authors recommended to use it, although they don't show any kind of difference between the Euroscore 2 and no difference between the two types of Gerada score, with or without radiological evidence of malperfusion. These are the separate AUC curves that basically look all the same: Gerada radiological, Gerada clinical, and the Euroscore 2 basically predict with a similar accuracy of 0.77 under the curve, area under the curve. Here's an independent validation of the Gerada score from a single center in Germany. The Cologne Center has looked at their patients. It's a big center with a large referral base, and they came up again with a conclusion that the new Gerada score is easy, useful, and accurate to predict 30-day mortality in patients with aortic dissection. Again, 0.67 under the curve, which is quite good. Interestingly, and I was personally surprised to read this when screening the literature for this presentation, in the Chinese population, again, a comparison between the Euroscore 2 and the Gerada score showed this outcome, with the Euroscore obviously, at least by the naked eye, showing a better performance as compared to Gerada. And the authors conclude that the Gerada score is not inferior to the Euroscore 2 in predicting surgical mortality among patients undergoing surgery for proximal aortic dissection. Take it or leave it, I think it basically shows that both scores work, obviously, although the Euroscore 2 was not designed for aortic surgery to begin with. This is another recently published comparison between 4 different scores to evaluate mortality in the short term. The Gerada, the IRAD1 that I have explained initially, the Centofanti score, and the UK aortic score in different colors. And if you focus on the graph, you see the 4 scores performing and comparing to each other based on a comparison to the red line. The red line identifies one which is identical prediction with outcome, so the predictive score and the outcome is identical. And as you can see, the yellow and the green, at least in the early phase, deviate most from the predicted, between the predicted and the actual mortality, whereas the Gerada and the Centofanti score are closer to the red line, which means they are more precise in predicting mortality based on their evaluation. Here are those scores. Again, Gerada on the left-hand side, simple criteria. UK score adds left ventricular function into the mix and the need for bypass surgery during the aortic intervention, which is rarely done, by the way. And as it shows, in comparison between these four scores, the UK score performs worse in this context due to less relevant parameters for aortic surgery, such as LV function and the need for bypass surgery in the same intervention. So again, these areas that you're familiar now with show that the area under the curve between the IRAD and the Gerada score are highest and therefore most accurate in predicting the outcome. However, all current scores are moving targets as less traumatic technology emerges. This is one of my cases, a patient who could not be operated for this urgent indication of an evolving type A dissection on the left-hand side due to an intracerebral hemorrhage. So the patient was undergoing endovascular stenting of the entry tear to this dissection, type A dissection. However, only as a temporizing procedure, because after 16 months there was this erosion visible on the distal end of the stent, and the patient, however, was stabilized, and the intracerebral hemorrhage had resolved, and the patient underwent elective surgery successfully. So in conclusion, the take-home messages from my analysis is that both the GERADA and IRAD-1, the relatively primitive initial score, are best to predict the early mortality. Both scores are also best to predict the one-year mortality. The EACTS recommends and endorses GERADA, but emerging endotechnology is likely to change the landscape soon. Thank you very much.